Hey everybody, welcome to another installment of Rambling Film Group Podcast. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Charles. Right next to me, I have my wife, Kelsey.
Hi, guys.
And then, as always, remotely we have with us, Sai.
Hey everybody.
So today, we are going to be doing a movie review, and we're going to do the most recent... Well, actually, there's been a couple of releases this weekend, but we're focusing right now on Venom, the big blockbuster for this weekend. That is predicted to be the largest October box office. Yeah.
Good
ever.
for Venom.
So, yeah.
Good for Venom.
Speaking of the film, let's talk about what is good for Venom, or what was good for Venom. What worked. Anybody want to lead that conversation in terms of the positives that we can take away?
What's all you, Chuck?
Okay. What was that?
I said it's all you.
Kels?
I did not hate Venom. Charles really did not like it. I don't know how you feel, Sai, but I did not hate Venom. Was it great? No. Do I even necessarily want to see it again in theaters? No. But did I leave like, wow, I just wasted my life? No. So
These are your positives?
No, I'm trying to give people like my overall opinion. So I didn't hate Venom. So because I didn't hate Venom, there are positives, and some of these positives may still be weak or not necessarily like incredibly high positives because the movie was semi-problematic. First, I'm not super familiar with Venom, but he is, is it fine if I do spoilers?
This movie did just release this weekend, but we'll make sure we put in the title, spoilers,
sorry.
Full review, and everything like that. So, right now, I'm going to say to everybody watching and listening, if you have not, it is October 5th. If you have not yet seen this film, which is totally reasonable that you haven't, do not listen to this review right now.
If you don't want to be spoiled. If you don't care, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But he is never, from like what my understanding and my knowledge is, never really a hero, and he is very much a hero in this movie. So that's interesting. You know, that's something. And then I'm going to go back to the positives. I liked Eddie and Venom's, like, in the mind's conversation, like their interactions. I actually thought that was really fun because he kind of seems like he's going crazy, and then we as the audience get to see other people's reactions to him kind of sounding like he's going crazy, but then we also like actually see what's happening. But I do like the thoughts, like the conversations between them. I thought those were fun. I also really like the villain guy. I actually don't know his name.
Carlton Drake.
Thank you. All I could think of was Rocket Man.
What?
Because we first see him and he's got rockets. Because he's built the rockets. It's really not that crazy. Anyway, I actually really liked his character up until the whole stuff with Riot. Because I think he is a... Shush.
I'm sorry.
He is very charming and kind of just... He comes across very put together, very charming, very like he's able to like talk his way through things very well. He seems very intelligent. He's just he's really misguided, and you kind of like, ooh, that's not good. Kind of evil, willing to use people at the expense of getting to like his main goal, which is kind of to like save people overall. So that's interesting. But I actually kind of liked his character. I thought it was just a good, I don't know. He was one of the more well-rounded characters, I guess, where we kind of see where he's coming from, why he's doing what he's doing. And then the stuff that he said, I think he had some of the better dialogue in the film. That's where I'm at. Positives, anybody else?
It's great great list of positives.
Shush.
I was laughing further because then I got the freaking Elton John song stuck in my head. So I just hear Rocket Man.
That was my first thought. I'm like, we're comparing him to a song now? An Elton John song, to be exact? All right.
No, we're just saying because he's got rockets.
I mean, that's not the only thing he owns. If that's the case, we can call him Droin.
Well, I mean, we could do whatever, but that's how I was remembering him. It's Rocket Man.
Alright.
I can go next.
Okay.
My positives, it's pretty short. So my positives is just simply, I did like, again, I don't know how comic accurate because Kelsey, I'm not familiar with Venom things all that much, but I did like just it really shouldn't work, but just the weirdness of that symbiote's personality, it worked decent enough. Probably because they had given such a weird vibe and tone already for this movie and these characters and everything. So we kind of just fit in and then took the weirdness and, things that you wouldn't normally say in conversations you wouldn't normally have. It just took that to another level. So that actually is, his personality and how that worked with Eddie is for sure the greatest strength of the film. That's, in my personal opinion, that's really the only positive I can kind of draw. I didn't hate it by any means, but there's nothing else like standing out to me like, oh, that was great too. Because I want to say, I feel like for each superhero movie, I should be able to say in this situation, action.
I was going to say, actually, that is one of my positives. I actually do like the action in this movie. Sorry, that's it.
Oh, okay. For me, I didn't see anything particularly novel or groundbreaking to make me feel like, oh, well, at least the action and the choreography was really cool. I can't really say that personally.
I really liked the chase scene myself and all that action. I thought that was fun to see, Eddie also kind of firsthand experience what the hell he's capable or Venom's capable of, and being like, oh, are you gonna do something about it? And then also just kind of all the different things that they're able to do so quickly and to change. It makes Venom frightening and holy crap, that is not someone you want to mess with, more so than just the punching and stuff that happens right before the chase scene. That is something very much true. But then you get to see how quickly they're able to think and just the extent of whatever is happening. I actually really enjoyed the action, in particular the chase scene.
Yeah.
I liked the. I'm sorry. I'll let you go right at this. I liked the before he got on the bike, when he was just literally escaping the facility. That first part of the chasing, I liked that more. When he ends up in the tree. Spoiler.
You like that more than the bike chase?
Let me explain. I'm gonna sound like an old man.
He is an old man.
But it sounded so loud to me while these drones were exploding and everything like that. I actually, for the first time in my life, I held my ears. It sounded so loud to me that it was just everything. The whole experience of that scene
completely ruined that entire scene for you.
It was so loud. I couldn't over it. I was like, my God, why is it so loud right now? I couldn't enjoy it because every explosion, and there were so many drones. I was just like, it was hurting.
So we won't be seeing movies in IMAX anymore.
So was it louder in IMAX?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I will admit, even I felt like during that scene, and I didn't see it in IMAX, that yes, it is loud. But it didn't ruin my experience of that scene. But it was.
You can't bear it anymore. Where you're just like, I can't.
Yeah, it was just in that moment, I was like, oh, this is a little abnormally loud for what movies are typically doing. But the scene was still great, so I can't necessarily understand that complaint. But hey, we're all different. That's perfectly fine. But I will admit, I wish there was a little bit more action, because there's really only 3 marquee action scenes. 4. When he's leaving the facility, and that's not, I won't call it pure action, because it's maybe 2 minutes, and then he's up in the tree and that's it. When they attack his house, that scene was really good, and I liked how it looked. The chase scene is by far the best action scene of the movie. And I'm not gonna lie, during that scene is kind of when I realized that I cannot watch this like as a Venom movie just itself, but B, if I do change my mindset watching it, this is actually a little bit fun. Um, and then the final fight between Venom and Carnage, or not Carnage, who's
Riot.
Thank you, Riot. Um, I have a whole nother beef with Carnage, but we'll get into that later. But
There's one other sequence right before the fight. Well, not right before, but before the final fight. When he's in his old like news building.
oh yeah, I forgot about that one. So I guess there's 5. I guess it's not bad for how long it is. Like yeah,
Let's say something that you couldn't remember it though.
I mean, but now that I remember it, I enjoyed that scene. I just forgot about it. It wasn't like I forgot because I want to erase it from my memory. I just simply forgot. I will say my favorite part visually was when they are in the final fight and the symbiotes kind of detach from the host bodies, but they're still fighting. I thought that looked really good and cool. But I wish there were kind of cooler looking moments, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But we are talking about positives here. So I will say I am, not that it's a surprise, but I am glad financially it's a success. Again, not that I really thought that would be an issue, just the title alone and kind of the discussions going in, building up to its release, made me feel like enough people were going to go see it. I will say I was kind of surprised that the pre-order tickets surpassed some of the recent Marvel movies. That was a bit of a shock, but as far as like it being a success this month, that's not too crazy of an idea for me. And then, yeah, I mentioned this, and I know it sounds weird, but if you completely take the aspect of a Venom origin movie and what that should be, the movie's actually really good. But again, that's like what the movie should be. So like I totally understand if people are going to hate on it for it not being that. But I do want to let people know that like if you want to watch it and you want to get the most enjoyment out of it as possible, bring your earmuffs because apparently it's really loud and that ruins a couple of scenes. And B,
one scene.
and B, you can't go into it looking for a traditional Venom movie because again, you can't have a traditional Venom movie without Spider-Man. It just the origin story kind of collapses at that point. The interaction, I know you guys don't know much about Venom, but the interaction between the symbiotes, it's slightly comic book accurate. Like there's some details in there that are in the comic books. Venom's personality is definitely spot on to not only the comics, but the Spider-Man animated cartoons or animated shows. As a matter of fact, you were talking about like the quirkiness of him. My favorite Venom moment ever is in one of the Spider-Man shows. He's battling Carnage and he's trying to figure out who Carnage is because in the comic books, Venom is Carnage's father. He gives birth to that symbiote. He just doesn't realize it. And so while he's fighting Carnage, he asks him, like, who are you? And Carnage, in the middle of the fight, lets him know that, like, I'm your son. And literally in the middle of the fight, Venom stops, starts stroking his chin and goes, oh yeah, I do remember spawning something. And like he just continues to like think deeply about it as Carnage just runs off. So like there are some quirky aspects to like his personality that they do bring over to the movie. So I didn't necessarily hate that. And Kelsey, you mentioned the relationship between Venom and Eddie. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was fantastically done. And I don't necessarily want to say he's a good guy in this movie because it's very obvious that he's looking out for his own interest. Like it starts off the movie where they join and like all the symbiotes, they convince the host that it's a partnership. But at some point you learn that the symbiotes are killing the host. They're actually eating them from the inside out, and that's why they're here, is to feast on us. And then Venom doesn't really change his viewpoint until he's with Eddie a little bit longer, and he decides that he likes Eddie. Like he only changes his plan on his own terms. That's not necessarily like a good guy portrayal. It was once he realized, oh, okay, I don't hate this planet as much as I thought I would, because he mentioned when he was on top of the building that it looked better than he thought it would. B, the host body that I'm currently with, he's not as bad as I thought he would be. And C, you can also tell, especially by the end of the movie, he's fallen in love with Eddie's, at that point, ex-girlfriend. So, like, he's really only staying on planet Earth and not doing anything bad because it benefits what he wants to do. Huh?
As it behooves him to.
Yeah.
Act.
I mean, they don't really know that I use that word because I'm cutting the episodes, but you know, I guess they connect the dots.
I just felt like I needed to say it.
But yes, it behooves him to do anything but save the Earth. That, and he doesn't like the main villain. Because he says himself, he's like Eddie on his home planet. He's a bit of a loser. He doesn't have the powers that the other symbiotes have. So he is a little bit out there. But yeah, I liked it. I really, really wish it could have been a true Venom movie. And it could have had that connection to Spider-Man. Because as a Spider-Man and Venom fan, I deserve that.
Yeah. I mean, also, sorry, another positive of mine is I really liked the way, like, visually, Venom looked good. Like, he looked terrifying, a lot better than Spider-Man 3.
Oh, Lord, let's not go into that.
You know what I mean? Like, this Venom, like, he looked good. I think he looked, like, really good. He was terrifying, it was nice and creepy. So that's another positive, is it wasn't like visually every time we saw Venom I was like, goodness, that is not a good look. He looked good. He's huge, he's massive. So that's another positive, is like visually they looked good.
Alright. Is that it for positives? Are we all?
Yeah, sorry, I think that's it for me.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to negatives.
Should I do for you what I did for Sai last time and have you start and get your negativity out the way?
You can. I actually wasn't gonna go like, because I feel like I could potentially say a lot of different things. I like to I'll say my piece, and then if you guys say anything, and if that spurs a thought, then I'll like chime in. But for me, I'm just gonna focus on like really one thing, and that was, I guess, outside of Venom the symbiote and what he has to say to Eddie, I thought the dialogue just god awful for a lot of instances. I just thought there was just very poor dialogue overall, and then especially in the first act, I thought the pacing was a bit weak, or not weak, just weird. Like we moved very quickly in the first act and then slowed way down for the second act. It just, I don't know, it's just kind of created a weird vibe for me for the movie. Like I said, there's other stuff I can nitpick about and everything, but my feelings for it can really be summed up with just like the conversations had, like the dialogue that's there to help push the narrative and the story forward. It just didn't work for me.
For me, my biggest negative, I think, was I just didn't feel the relationship chemistry between Anne and Eddie.
That's a big one too.
I didn't think. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really feel their relationship as much. yeah, I don't know. I just didn't see a ton of chemistry there. So I think that was probably like my biggest weakness stuff. And then I wasn't the biggest fan. I mean, it's fine, but it's, I don't know, of when Riot actually like got with, I can't remember his name again, Rocket Man, Carlton Drake.
There we go.
I didn't necessarily, we should see it coming and stuff like that, but I didn't necessarily love that so much because I thought Carlton Drake was a good enough villain in its own right. Because like I said, I actually liked him because he's just incredibly intelligent and resourceful and just doesn't matter. He's willing to sacrifice tons and tons of people.
You are such a big fan of these you would call misguided, but evil genius type of characters.
100%.
It's really, it's honestly kind of unsettling. Like it's.
I'm all about that intelligence. I own it. 100%.
It's too much.
100%. And so I thought he was good enough on his own, but that's not really like a super negative. Like I said, it's just more like I enjoyed him. And then the stuff with Riot happens, but then you do get like the good like action big fight scene between Venom and Riot at the end. So there is that too, and you couldn't have had that without them merging. So there is that. But I think my biggest negative is just not really feeling or buying the relationship between Anne and Eddie. Although Dan is a hell of a guy.
Oh yeah, but Dan's the man.
Dan's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I made a mistake of like mixing in my negatives with my positives. So, I won't like go too far into it, but I do have to agree the dialogue outside of Eddie and Venom, it is kind of lacking. Like when you mentioned that, I kind of thought back to it and I was like, yeah, all right, I agree with that. Eddie and Anne's relationship. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that, like, we came in on the very end of it. Like, we didn't really get to explore much of their partnership. Like, literally 10 minutes into the movie, they break up. And then, also with the pacing, 15, 20 minutes into the movie, you skip 6 months ahead. So you don't get to spend much time seeing Eddie kind of struggle, seeing what happens to him post, basically losing everything. So yeah, the pacing is a little bit weird in just how quickly they decided to make that jump.
Yeah, it basically set up where the first act was done like that quickly. Yeah. So it makes everything else just feel weird in comparison to how fast we moved to start. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Another negative. I will say I wish, considering how much Sony kind of teased the other symbiotes outside of Venom, I wish I would have gotten more of them. Like we saw them infect host bodies real quick, and then we saw them die.
And that's it.
Because like Drake,
they all died. Too.
Yeah, because Drake he couldn't keep them alive, and he talks about that, but I do wish we would have gotten a little bit more information or gotten to see them more detailed than just basically seeing them stuck in cages for like 30, 40 minutes of the movie. And then you find out that they're dead at the end. So, trying to think. Yeah, I guess my biggest complaint is the fact that in order for me to really enjoy the movie is I had to take the Venom aspect out of it. Like that's the only way I could enjoy the movie, and that's not why you go see a movie like this, unfortunately. So that's really the biggest hit I could give it, and it's a really big issue. I know some people will still find it fun because it is a fun movie, but if you are trying to you want to see a Venom origin movie, it's terrible. I'm just gonna be flat out honest. It is not a good Venom origin movie at all. It's not accurate. It's not anything compared to his actual origin story. So, yeah, that's really the biggest negative I can give it, and it's a humongous one when you go see a movie like this.
I have a random question. Does anybody? I don't know if either of you know. Does Tom Hardy have a limp? Does he have a well-known injury that he's suffered to his leg that affects how he walks and runs.
Oh, I don't know.
And weird in this movie.
So I think that was on purpose though, because he's basically sick.
Okay.
And like again, you have to remember that the symbiote is eating him from the inside out, and so like
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept that.
So he's just weak.
Yeah.
He's dying.
Also, that soundtrack soundtrack. The song from the title song from Eminem was pretty disappointing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge soundtrack person, so like I won't really comment. But it wasn't the greatest Eminem song like ever, so you know.
Not
The score, the score was fine, I guess. Nothing like I do always like that's something I definitely pay attention in superhero movies. But it was fine to me. There wasn't anything really stand out. But yeah, that just it doubled down for me when I heard the Eminem song again. I was just like, this isn't great.
Not my favorite Eminem song, and I'm a big Eminem fan. Yeah, not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I actually liked the score. It wasn't anything like fantastic because I am a person who like music will elevate things for me. So good moments will be elevated by great music, or they can also be hindered by like mediocre music. So I am somebody who feels both. So I don't think it's as good as some other scores where I'm like, ooh, this is real good. But I feel like it was better / more memorable / fit moments and tones better than some of the other like Marvel things where I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, especially it was the same guy that did the score for Black Panther, so that makes it even more so like, oh, I know what you're capable of.
Yeah, so I felt like it. Maybe just because you didn't enjoy the movie as much, I enjoyed it a little bit more because I thought it was. I actually kind of enjoyed like the certain things, and there were moments where I was like, "Ooh, that's nice. That is nice."
Gotcha. Well, did we have any more negatives to go over or anything like that?
Nope.
I mean, the one other negative I would have is the first post-credit scene.
Yes, talk about that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
My like when when early reviews came out, there was kind of circulating that that one of the post-credit scenes was just Woody Harrelson in a red wig, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you're joking about that. That's not it. And literally, the first post-credit scene is just Woody Harrelson in a red wig. That is it. That's really all they give you. It doesn't even.
Carnage is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in that little hint there, but like it doesn't. As much as I want to see Woody Harrelson as Carnage, because I think he would play the perfect actor, like he's the perfect actor for that role. That it doesn't do anything to like make me interested in what Sony could do with Woody Harrelson as Carnage. Yeah. And that's what I was looking for.
That's kind of how I feel about with all the actors, because there's great acting talent in this movie, and it just makes me think, how different is what we're seeing from the script that they read and agreed to sign on to? Because I have to imagine if the script, if the lines and everything that we saw was directly, like a transcript, and we read it out, I can't imagine that was the same script that they were sold on. So I'm just curious, like what might have original vision for this.
I'm also curious about what is the 40 minutes that Sony decided to cut that was like Tom Hardy suggested.
Yeah.
Because I think there's like a little bit over an hour of stuff that was cut, and 40 minutes of that was Tom Hardy suggested stuff that like he went into wanting to be done in the movie. And apparently Sony obviously wrote off on it at the beginning, because I don't think he would have taken the role if they had said no. And then when it came time to like put the final cut on stuff, they still went ahead and cut it. So I'm really interested in what that stuff is.
Yeah.
Yes, we will see. Second post-credit scene?
Second post-credit scene
had nothing to do with Venom, actually.
So
had nothing to do with that movie.
It was just further in the Spider.
Yeah, it was for the Into the Spider-Verse movie that comes out on Christmas.
Right.
I will say, like, me and Chuck talked about this yesterday because I mentioned it to him. Did you understand, like, the kind of roller coaster ride emotionally? Because, like, they introduce it as in another universe. And so, like, initially, my hope was, like, do I get something from Far From Home? Like, is Sony and Disney kind of playing nice for me right now, and they're gonna give me something? And then that first like 5 seconds of you realizing that, oh no, that's not what they're doing. And so I was disappointed. But then by the end of the credit, I was like, oh, I like this. I like the interaction between Miles Morales and Peter Parker. And even though I was already interested in the movie, especially with the recent trailer that came out, the post-credit scene was really good. And so, like, I didn't leave the theater bummed, but I really would have hoped that Sony and Disney could have just played nice together for like 2 minutes and just given me something from Far From Home.
I think it's coming, but not just yet.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on that one. It is a good post-credit scene, but yeah, it has nothing to do with what they're doing in the Venom universe that they're trying to set up, and the way they introduce it. I think a lot of people will kind of think what my thought was, am I gonna get what I think I'm gonna get right now? And no, you're not gonna get what you really want.
Not even a little bit. So. But yeah, okay. I guess it'd be time to have we been giving scores for things? Have we?
No,
okay.
We can though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
All right, give your score.
Out of 5 or out of 10?
5.
5. I'll give it a 2.
Okay. I will give it a good solid 3. Good solid 3. Yeah, I didn't hate this movie. Like I said, was it the best thing I've ever seen? No. Do I necessarily want to go see it again like tomorrow? No. Do I still think people should go out and see Venom? Yes. So for that, I will give it a positive, because I think people should still see it, especially if you're not like a hardcore Venom fan. You aren't going to be nearly as disappointed because you have no idea what's happening. Like, if you have nothing about this character, then you're not going to be disappointed with what you got, because I mean, you're going to be incredibly wrong and you're thinking for a bit, thinking this is what Venom's like. But if you don't know, then it's more just like a fun alien parasite sci-fi type movie. You know what I mean? So if you don't know, or if you just don't care, I still think for the most part it would be enjoyable. Good action. That some of like the lines and stuff between Eddie and Venom are funny. You know what I mean? So it's just like a good mind, like, clearing, let's just watch this. If like what Sai says, if you're not thinking about it as a Venom movie.
So I kind of got to give it 2 ratings. I have to give it a rating as a Venom movie. If I'm going to rate it purely on what a Venom origin movie should be, I'm sorry, I gotta give it like 1 star. That's it. I apologize. Now, again, when I take Venom out of it, and you mentioned, just an alien parasite movie, I'll give it 2.5 stars. Almost 3. So, I do think people, if they're willing to take that out of it, it is worth their money to go see it. But if you know you can't take that out of it, I would technically say just go ahead and stay away.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
But I think that's really it. We've covered, unless anybody else has anything else to say about it.
I was going to ask, what did you give it for the non-Venom score?
The non-Venom, I gave it like a 2.5, almost a 3.
Okay. I just didn't hear that part, but okay. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
But yes, that's what I'm saying. To like the casual moviegoer, I think overall they will probably enjoy this. If you are stoked on life for a Venom movie, it's not going to be your thing. Like, it's not the best. But yeah, because of a majority of the world, I'm pretty sure are more casual, non-Venom enthusiasts, or even Spider-Man enthusiasts, I think people overall should enjoy it at least more than what it was scored critically.
Oh yeah, I will.
It's not going to be like, wow, 80%. That's the best movie I've seen since the summer blockbuster. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But it should be for a casual movie fan, for people who aren't super excited about Venom. It should be ranked more than what it was critically viewed.
Yeah, that 29. I think the casual fan.
The casual
again, I'm talking about the casual fan. Will rate it higher than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The casual fan.
Casual people for sure. I would just the only thing I would say.
Point.
I would say also people that are just like film buffs or film nerds, and people just like that like know structure and analysis and dialogue and stuff like that. Those are other people that aren't going to be satisfied with it.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
I was just saying, like, that was the only, like, so if there's somebody like that, I can't recommend that to them either. But just to,
we're
just
talking about casual, like, just the everyday.
I'm saying, like, to anybody that could potentially be watching or listening to us, I'm sure potentially there is someone in that vein that could be watching, and I want to let them know. You could probably wait and rent this one.
Yeah, rent it. So yes, do I want to see it again?
Nah.
No. That's 3 no's on repeat.
Will I be buying it when it comes out on home video?
That's okay. So that's 3 people saying we will probably never see this movie again.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely not watching it again. Not like willingly.
Yeah, not willingly. If it's on at somebody else's house and I'm a guest, I'm not going to be like, turn this off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Well, all right. I think it from us on Venom.
It was a really happy review.
Yeah, I was gonna say go see it, but I feel like in good conscience I can't say that. But these guys can, and if you listen to them, go see it.
If you're the casual fan,
we have very specific recommendations.
I'm sorry, I didn't think I was gonna start a whole thing right now, so my apologies.
I don't want people
like,
to think I'm recommending it.
Exactly. So I need to be very, very clear. You either need to go into this movie, if you are a Venom fan or a Spider-Man fan, even just a little bit, you have to go into it knowing it's not going to be a Venom movie. Or if you're just a very, very casual, I just like to sit somewhere for 2 hours and eat popcorn person. Like, that's the people I'm recommending this movie to. I just need to be very, very, very clear.
I would agree with that. But we can...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with that, but we can, finish it there.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. So, like I said, Kelsey and Sai said, go see it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment. Hit us up on all our social media platforms. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts with for just listening options. So please, hit us up. Let us know you're enjoying it. And sorry for my hands moving if you're watching. And see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. And because I'm the one editing this, no, we are not recommending it, okay? Very specific people.